Welcome to Talk-A-Raptor episode -2. This is Talk-A-Raptor. Today I'm covering the 6 shows I'm watching right now, and I was planning to cover them in alphabetical order to be unbiased, but there is a slight correlation between where these shows stand in the alphabet and how good they are. Just ignore that. First up is Angel Hearts. Now, thanks to this show, I think I finally understand Moe, and her name is Shining. I think that's how it's pronounced. The show pronounces it something like Shining, which is clearly wrong. Anyway, this girl is basically an emotionless assassin who tries to commit suicide and then gets adopted by Ryo Saiba, who you may recognize from City Hunter, which I recently wrote a post about. Now, before you start thinking this is just like every other show where a girl starts tagging along with a badass and teaches him how to feel and how to love and things like that, you had to consider that this girl is basically Sosuke Sagura. She has that same sort of battlefield instinct in everyday life that brought so much comedy to Full Metal Panic. Although the show really isn't going for the comedy aspect so much as the drama, and that's probably a good thing since the comedy isn't executed as well as it was in Full Metal Panic or the original City Hunter series. Now, the series itself is not technically in the same universe as the original City Hunter. It's a slight alternate universe with a lot of consistency between the two shows, but after 20 episodes, which is about where I am right now, you really notice there are a lot of details that make it impossible for it to be in the exact same universe as the original City Hunter series. Now, one of the changes that I like the best is that Umibozu is in nearly every episode, and also, interestingly, he went from the most socially inept character to the wisest character. I can only assume there's a TV trope for this. Anyway, my rating for the series so far is a single plus. I found the premise a bit questionable, but it's really starting to settle in right now, and I could see it going up to double plus depending on how things work towards the end. But for now, it's a very solid single plus. Next up is Ashita no Joe. This is an anime I've been interested in ever since watching the excellent boxing anime Hajime no Ippo. Unfortunately, Ashita no Joe has never had consistent subs until recently, and a fellow blogger, Reed of Slackians, he's been working on the fan subs and has been hyping the hell out of the show, so I figured, what better time to watch? Now, Ashita no Joe is about a guy named Joe who refuses to become a boxer at all costs. Now, it's pretty common in sports anime for a potential player to really hold out or be against participating in a sport, but ultimately cave in a few episodes later. Well, Ashita no Joe takes this to its logical extreme. First, we have Joe, who's just a nobody wandering around town, and an old man offers to train him to box. Joe refuses. Then, the man pays him. Joe still refuses to box. Then Joe runs a scam, and he might get a pretty light punishment if he agrees to follow the old man's orders and become a boxer. He still refuses, so he goes to jail, refuses to box. Then he goes to super jail, and he still refuses to box. And then he tries to escape, and this just keeps going on and on and on until Joe finally starts to take boxing seriously, which is about where I am in the series. Now, I have it rated a double plus, and what's really impressed me about the show so far is that it really let Joe hit rock bottom. You keep waiting for that moment when Joe's going to say, "No, I don't want my life to suck anymore, I'm going to become a boxer." But no, Joe really just keeps on refusing and his life just keeps getting worse. It's really impressive when a series does that. Also, a lot of things are kind of refreshing with the series being from the early 70s, except for the animation, which is kind of sketchy, and it really depicts poverty in a way that you do not see in modern anime. This is, the post-war era. People are living in slums. You see this in Grave of the Fireflies, but I can't recall any other anime that really depicts poverty like this. You should definitely check it out and at least give the show some love so it'll get subbed faster. Next up is Hunter x Hunter, which just finished a major story arc and, in my opinion, by far the best story arc in the entire series, so now is really a great time to get into it. I do have a slight preference for the older Hunter x Hunter anime, but from this point onward, I think the new series is going to do it a lot better because the continuity is really going to pay off. At this point in the older series, it was just a bunch of OVAs one after the other. Here, we're actually getting it week after week after week. And as long as they change that goddamn opening theme, everything from here out's looking up. So, I'm rating the series double plus. It's not going to change anytime soon. Just enjoy the ride. Oh, and also I'd like to make a retraction. In a previous Talk-A-Raptor, I said that the new Hisoka's voice was not pedophilic enough. I would like to take that back. It is definitely pedophilic to my satisfaction, and at times much beyond. Next up is Initial D, the 5th stage, which looks every bit as good as the previous seasons, although it kind of sucks that only 2 episodes are coming out a month now, so if you're waiting for it, you may as well continue waiting and watch it all later. Double plus. Next up is Nazo no Kanojo X, Mysterious Girlfriend X. This one was really hyped up by blogger Glow, if I said so, and so far I don't see it. I'm 6 episodes in. I do not have a drool fetish, which kind of is a big hurdle towards liking the show, and this far there just isn't much going on. 6 episodes in, and I only counted 6 characters, including the main 2, so really not much to say at this point. I'm going to hold out judgment until the end of the first season, but so far it's just a single tilde. And finally, Polar Bear's Cafe, Shirokuma Cafe. I already wrote a post about this, and I don't have too much to add, except it's gotten slightly better. Previously, I gave it a single tilde, but it was on the borderline between single and double tilde. Right now, I'd say it's pretty firmly in the single tilde area, and that's not going to change. Really, the only reason I'm giving it a slightly better grade right now is because the cast has grown over time, and with many comedies, that leads to a larger variety of jokes. In the case of Polar Bear's Cafe, this is really quite refreshing because previously it was just the same jokes over and over again, although even the newer jokes nowadays, they still aren't very clever, nor are they delivered well. And now for some news and extras. So, last time I did Talk-A-Raptor Negative Series, Talk-A-Raptor Negative 1, everyone was bitching about the format, so I figured, hey, why don't I do the exact same thing and add a slideshow this time? And now everyone loves it. A few other changes, so now I'm doing this in front of my computer instead of on my MP3 player. I have a brand new microphone, which is much better than my MP3 players or my built-in laptop's microphones, and I'm spending slightly more time on the editing, though my goal is still to keep these things short, both for listening and for producing. This looks like it's going to take about 4 hours total, which includes all the writing, the video, the audio, you name it, it's done. The goal of the Talk-A-Raptor Negative Series was to sort of replace the little blurbs I'd write about all the shows I was watching, so I'll probably be doing a few of these a year. In the past, it's sort of been against my policy to reveal what I'm going to do for my site before it's actually posted, in large part because I don't even know myself what I'm going to be writing or producing, but I figure, what the hell, let's give this preview thing a shot. So at some point, I'm planning to do a review of the Harry Potter series, which I listened to on audiobook and also watched the movies for. I would also like to write a review of my most recent Triple Plus rated series, which is Mirai Nikki, The Future Diary. And finally, the 7-year anniversary of the site's coming up in about 2.5 months, so expect a full video Talk-A-Raptor then. And that covers just about everything for now. I'll see you next time.